Synthetic food dyes are petroleum-based food colorings that are added to foods and particularly added for visually appealing reasons, right? So these are things like you might see on the label red dye 40, yellow 5, yellow 6, red dye 3, and then you have a couple of blues and greens as well in these foods. This January, the FDA banned red dye 3 in our food systems, and companies have until 2027 through 2028 to reduce that red dye in their food sources. Food dyes are not toxic to your body immediately. What we're concerned about with food dyes is the neurodevelopment effects and the behavioral effects in children. Science shows that there's even a genetic component to this, so it's not all kids that are reacting to these food dyes, it's only a small subset. But it's enough of a subset that other countries have placed bans on these ingredients. So consumers need to be aware of what other things are changing. We saw this historically when trans fat was banned. And so while food dyes don't really affect taste, they do affect just the color and the way that the products look. Companies may use this as an opportunity to start adding more sugars and fats in their foods to make them taste a little bit more appealing. In low-income communities, what we're seeing is a higher consumption of ultra-processed and energy-dense foods, where we tend to see food dyes are clustering. However, these ultra-processed foods tend to be the cheaper, more accessible, and even the more shelf-stable options. When you're talking about choosing between whether to feed your child or paying rent, you're not really concerned about whether this food contains red dye 40 or they're coloring it with beet juice. And so for these families, what we want to focus on is, can we make healthier food options accessible and affordable for them? My take on these food dyes is less about the fear of these foods. What is most important is overall making our diet healthier and being aware of what we put in our bodies and what we're eating. And so keeping that awareness of what kind of food dyes are added in your food, but in addition to that, how much added sugar, saturated fats, how much fiber we're consuming and protein and all the good stuff, and making an overall healthy nutrition diet.